Hello there, and thanks again for joining us for another Mont Marte art lesson. And in today's lesson, we'll be creating a watercolour painting of Forceful, Brisbane's most famous ocean-going tugboat. Now, to paint my tugboat, I'll be using the Mont Marte 24-piece watercolour paint set. And for paper, I'll be using the Mont Marte 300 GSM watercolour paper. And each page is rough textured on one side and smooth on the other, and I'll be using the smooth side for this project. So let's take this to our board and let's get into it. Whenever you open a new pack of watercolours, it's a great idea to lay out each colour so you know exactly how they look on paper. I really like the Mont Marte 24-piece set as it has a good range of hues. To be honest, you wouldn't really need any more colours, as these provide one with the ability to mix everything. The first step is to draw up Forceful. I use a HP pencil to do this. We have supplied some photos on the PDF for your reference. You can grid up a photo and transfer it like that, or you could draw it straight in. There's an overall photo and detailed photos, like the funnel here. I finish my drawing and squeeze out some permanent blue. I add water and give it a good mix. It should be the viscosity of, say, milk. Wash up the brush, turn the painting upside down, and then lay the sky area in with clean water. Add the water only to the area that you wish to paint the sky colour. This will contain the paint within when it's added. It's a really cool technique and works well on detail areas too. You can then add the colour to this with the same brush. This brush is a Mont Marte 50mm hake. When you have the wash all laid in and even, pat the paint with some toilet paper to remove pigment, thereby suggesting clouds. It's really easy and quite effective. Next, mix up some Prussian blue and lay it in directly around the tugboat. The brush I'm using in this case is the number 8 Squirrel on Round. It holds a lot of liquid and points up nicely. Try to get this wash down as quickly as you can, so as to avoid the unsavoury join mark one gets when wet paint is laid over partially dry wash. When this wash is dry, mix up some sap green and lay it in vertical lines across the initial wash. The brush I'm using here is a Mont Marte number 10 fat liner. This is a really good method to suggest the rippling ocean in watercolours, and not just because it looks effective. The way the paint is applied creates an intricate pattern that interests the viewer. Now we can start painting Forceful. So lay out some permanent red, some vermilion, permanent yellow, Payne's grey and lamp black. These are pretty much the only colours used for her. Despite the general rule that one starts from light moving to dark with watercolour, I lay in black into the smokestack. This is basically a cylinder, so I lay the paint onto the sides and fade it out in the middle. I then continue with any black areas like the air intakes and the storage chests. It's these wonderful little detail areas that make a painting fascinating to look at. I then move on to the hull. The rest of the painting will be done with the number 2 traditional mop. Have a good look at the reference photos. There are many strengths of black on the hull area, mainly due to how the light plays on the compound curvature of that hull. Just keep building up tone and don't worry if things don't turn out exactly like you thought they would. It never does with watercolour. It is so fluid. That's what makes it such a rewarding and fun challenge. Forceful left Glasgow Harbour in December 1925 and arrived in Brisbane in 1926. And she was employed mainly in the Brisbane River. Now, some watery vermilion on the bottom. In 1926, Forceful went to the aid of Kuma when she grounded off Heron Island. And she teamed up with another tug to tow the Rio Claro off Scott's Reef in that same year. If you refer to the PDF photos, you will notice that the Forceful is mainly lots of different colours of orange. These can be made from the colours already squeezed into the palette. I start with the lightest and then work my way up. The light source is from the front, so the upper deck creates this angled shadow. While I have the dark mix, I lay it onto the inside of the hull and the aft cabins. Perhaps Forceful's finest hour was in February 1929, when she assisted towing the stricken steamer Arafura through a cyclone some 300 kilometres to Brisbane. During World War II, she was commissioned into the Royal Australian Navy and her title changed to HMAS Forceful. She received 2 battle honours for her wartime service in Darwin and in Dutch New Guinea, where she acted as a rescue vessel for aircraft and crews returning from bombing missions. Keep building up the tone if you wish for a darker orange, just add some vermilion and a touch of Payne's grey. Like this area here is almost a brown. Keep referring to the PDF and add this mix to any other areas that need it. I then layer red inside the air intake. What a lovely addition that bright red is to the work. Now I apply lighter tones to the top cabin. And each plane is a different shade of orange depending on its position in regards to the light source. If you look at the photo, the very top of the wheelhouse is white, so the shadow generally shows as a blue-grey. Finally, I lay some Payne's grey into the water on Forceful's shadow side, and then lay in some fine detail lines. Well, that was great. I absolutely love the look of watercolours, and I love the fact that you never know what you're going to come up with. Well, if you did enjoy this lesson and you're not there now, then log on to our webpage at montmarte.net, where we've got lots more lessons. And while you're there, maybe you'd like to have a look at our blog or join our Facebook. And you could subscribe to our family feed. And if you subscribe to that, then you can get free hints and art tips to help you with your artwork. Well, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on painting.